Welcome to
Separate Bathrooms. And other handy marriage tips.
I love that music.
You do?
I do. You know something we've
You
never actually talked about is that play on music that we have is music that I wrote for my EP. Yeah, I've looked, a shameless piece of advertisement.
Why not?
You can find it on Apple Music, and I believe it's on Spotify too. It's called Songs from the Shed, and that song is about Steve McQueen, who's my favourite actor.
I love that song.
Yeah, I'm talking about 60s Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen is... He's that's a director you're talking about nowadays, an African American director. Actually, no, he's English. Anyway, Steve McQueen, the actor.
Yeah, but Steve McQueen, the best user of props ever. I think Ryan Gosling's the modern day equivalent.
Yeah, probably.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Anyhow, and I've got new music coming out soon too, which I'm really excited about. I know it's a shameless ad, but we never talk about it because you never ask me, because I always talk about it. Otherwise.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Hey, welcome to Separate Bathrooms and Other Handy Marriage Tips. That's a marriage tip.
What's that one?
Listen to your husband. Ask him lots of questions.
Oh,
be kind
dude,
to him.
Seriously, you cannot go there. The amount of questions I ask you and we talk about you is like a mountain. Come on now. Let's just get real. Do not play victim here.
Victim?
Yeah.
I guess I am.
Seriously.
I'm in need of some ego stroking. Listen, let's get up to or onto what we're talking about today, honey. My name's Cam. This is Ali, my wife.
Yes.
You can hear this up on Instagram. Ali's at Ali Daddo. I'm at Cameron Daddo. I put a question to you, well, to our Facebook family, the Separate Bathrooms, Another Handy Marriage Tip family. I put a question out there a couple of weeks ago, and it was about growing up. And the question was, what would you have liked to have been told about adulthood? With what you know now, what you're experiencing, what would have helped you prepare for adulthood? And we got a huge amount of response.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Or huge response. Huge amount of responses.
Our responses were huge and wonderful.
They were. Look, it was just so great to start a conversation.
Yeah.
And we went all sorts of places. So we're going to talk about that. Look, the reason I brought it up is I often think about my childhood and how great it was. And there was one part of it that when I was growing up with my 4 siblings, we had to take turns. That's the way Mum and Dad sort of controlled things, because we're all fairly close in age. There's only 5 or 7 years actually between my eldest sister Bindi and Lockie, my youngest brother. We had to take it turns, like if there was a ride to go on, if there was a haircut to be had, or getting school uniforms sorted, there was an order to it. It was usually oldest to youngest. Could have been youngest to oldest. I don't think we ever started from the middle, but there was order to it. So the point is, when I finished school and began my work on television in the entertainment business, the same thing happened, right? I started on my TV show Off the Dish. I moved on to Perfect Match. Andrew, my brother, took over from me, and then he moved on to his ABC show, The Factory, and Lockie took over from Andrew. So subconsciously, my patterning as a child had been validated, that there was a pecking order, there was a queue that everyone subscribed to. But then after leaving hosting of Perfect Match but moving into drama, which I got pretty much every job that I auditioned for about 5 years, things began to change. And I believed that I was next in line for certain movies and bigger jobs. But no, like producers, they were picking the actors. They weren't in my brain going, okay, this is the cue, Cam's next. And I wasn't getting the things that I wanted, that I felt like I deserved, that it was my turn. Damn it. Why weren't they honouring the line? Why weren't they honouring the cue that I was standing in? So I just wish that conversation happened earlier in my mind. And your mum still brings it up. She still brings it up every now and again. It's your turn, darling. Yeah. It's your turn. And I say, Mum, the world doesn't know about our line. They don't know about our cue.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Do you have anything like that?
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's things that I wish that I certainly were taught as a young girl. And you know, the thing is that, again, just as I totally get why your mum and dad had you doing turns. You know, you were 5 kids under the age of 7, and I understand, you know, my parents and the way they raised us as well. I'm one of 3 girls. I'm the youngest, and my dad was so soft. Like, he's such a softie. And so Dad never wanted us hurt in any way, shape or form. So often there was a thing about, you maybe not try in case you might fail at it. You know, like if something came, if there was a challenge that any of us hit, it wasn't a case of who cares, go for it. Just, you know, bugger the lot of them and go for it. You know, push harder. Dad was like, oh, darling, all right, well, it's okay. Just sit back and pull out. It's all right, darling. You know, there was...
So he was sort of protecting you in that way?
Yeah, it's out of his love, though that I had to really work hard to change that for myself as an adult, to just not go, oh, poor me, I'd better just sit this one out because that might get a bit too hard. So I'll just not do it instead. And that's as an adult, actually as a kid, it's hard, but as an adult, it's really hard because you have to push through some hard things and go for it. So that was something that, I was aware of that could have been different.
And so in terms of a personal relationship, I remember when we went through our difficult time early in our marriage, and I think both of our parents said, don't do it.
Yep.
Walk away.
Yep.
But we persevered. We both persevered.
I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I know we talk about this a lot, MAFS, right? Married at First Sight, the show that we don't watch, but actually we really watch.
It's such a...
We do watch it because we sit down with... our whole family sits down and watches it. Anyway, that show...
There's different reasons for watching it.
And I was listening to sort of, you know, watching the things unravel. And I mean, I know these are social experiments that people have just met. But everything that we went through, it's almost like we shouldn't have made it. We shouldn't have made it as far as we have, with all the things that we went into our marriage, like how we got together and all the times that we blew apart, all the stuff that we put ourselves through. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
which are all the things,
like,
except I didn't stick your toothbrush down a toilet.
Well, I did to you, but I'm just letting you know that now. It wasn't the toilet, it was the sewer.
Used it.
Well, bringing it back to what I said, so that's where I know I had to really create that muscle of pushing through, you know, so really continuing to, you know, as you said, like people said to us, just walk away from the marriage. It's too hard. You'll never rebuild. And we did. So that really taught me how to push through, how to keep going with an intention. And even though this is hard, this is painful, I want to finish. I want to go. I want to keep at it. So, you know. Determination.
But like you said, you're building, isn't that interesting? In terms of building strength, you need resistance to build strength.
Yeah.
You know, so there we are having resistance to certain things in our lives. But if you dive into that resistance, you actually build that muscle.
Yeah. And that's something I hope we've really taught our kids, because we've pushed them in places where they've wanted to stop and gone, nope, you can do this. And they've seen us walk through some pretty fiery places and come out the other side. So hopefully that's something inbuilt in them, you know.
Well, I mean, that's something that also with the one that I had about waiting in line, that it's your turn next. It's your turn next. That, you know, I've been able to speak to the kids and say, there is no line, guys.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one's turn. You've got to step up and grab it. And I think they're getting that too.
Yeah.
You know, There was a really interesting response from a gal, Justine. I just was interesting. She just said, "I'm not sure I would have listened as a kid."
I agree.
You know,
with that,
and there's a
actually,
couple of people went into that idea that, I don't know how much I would have listened as a kid, because we kind of as kids, and I'm looking at our kids and I look at my nieces and nephews, and they kind of know it all, they know what they know, and they don't really want to know from an old fart about how things might help or not.
You do plant a seed, though. I think if there's a seed that you plant, and then hopefully when they come out of that teenage years, they're like, "Oh, I remember Dad saying that."
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's it. You've got to keep your advice giving or the lessons to a minimum of words, don't you?
More than anything, it's actually what you demonstrate to your kid, not what you say. It's how you demonstrate. Because you say something and you do something differently, then the kid just goes, "Why would I do that? Mum and Dad aren't doing it."
Yeah.
But if they're following through and they're saying exactly, their advice is exactly what they're doing in their life, it's so much more powerful.
It's the same in a relationship too, isn't it?
It is.
Blah, blah, blah. What's he doing? You know, yeah, but I love you, but I'm out buying a six-pack.
Like for your stomach. Like buying
exactly.
a fake
Getting
six-pack
that surgery
to strap it
for
on.
the six-pack.
Yeah.
You can have the inserts done. Get with it, honey. Go to Brazil, China. No, I wouldn't go there right now.
Want better sleep? It's time to toss out your memory foam and upgrade to an Awara, the organic luxury hybrid mattress with Sri Lankan latex wrapped around coil springs to provide contour and a touch of bounce for supportive sleep throughout the night. The best part? A 365-night trial, no questions asked. If you don't like it, we'll take it back. You can't go wrong with free shipping, free returns, and a forever warranty. AWARAsleep.com and use code HEALTH for $350 off. Plus, we will plant 100 trees with your purchase.
Hi, this is Brooke Devard from Naked Beauty. Are you tired of feeling housebound? I sure am. Break free with the new Unbound cordless auto curler from Conair. It's a high-performance auto curler that's rechargeable and gives you up to 60 minutes of cord-free runtime. Just think of all of the incredible hair looks you can create in 60 minutes, unbound, away from your wall. Don't get tied down by cords. Love your look, live unbound. Check it out at conair.com and search Unbound.
I liked this one from Sarah. She has an 11-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter, and she would have loved to have known about emotional regulation, and not learning self-control or self-regulation has to be one of the biggest concerns for young adults. Managing angry emotions and learning that they are normal, but not acting out on them is what most young males especially are lacking, and what gets most of them into serious trouble. I think that's where men's health start. That's where, that idea of boys don't cry, be a man, or men are allowed their anger, but they're not allowed their tears. And, women have the flip side where women are allowed their tears, but not allowed their anger, and women, that's where women become, they hold their anger in check sometimes far too much, and become a people pleaser. So I think that's a really great one too. How do we teach our children, to use their emotion in a full way, still have all their feelings, yet not act out from them.
Yeah. This brings up something. It was a conversation with a mate of mine, and I'm not breaking any confidences here. He's going through a separation with his wife. They've been together for a number of years, and they have a couple of kids, and he's got a big anniversary. It's actually today. I was talking to him this morning, asking him if he's okay, and he said he's really sad, but he was glad that he had a lot of work to do to distract him today from his thoughts. But he said something really interesting. He said, I have these waves of emotions of sadness coming through, and he said, so I'm just allowing those to happen and then moving on. I'm glad I've got something to distract me. And so he's allowing himself to feel these feelings. Whereas what you said before about not feeling, and men, us pushing them away, pushing the tears away. And he was saying that there's moments where in the past few months where he's been dealing with this breakup where tears just come and he's not even aware that they're there, sort of thing, but then he can feel it in his body. But he's gone from a place of pushing them away to now allowing it to come and just allowing himself to go through it.
Yeah, well, that's the healing.
Yeah, so what Sarah's saying here with this emotional regulation, which I've never actually heard of that term. Have you heard of that before?
I haven't actually. I think it's an interesting term, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're regulating, regulating your emotions, but allowing them to come through, I think that's really, really important. And he's doing that, and for me, and I watch him do it, and so his behaviour has been a wonderful learning for me. Going, wow, he's not projecting it, he's not stuffing it and then projecting it onto his kids,
right,
or his friends or whoever. He's not treating people badly. He's being kind, and he's allowing himself to have what he's feeling. So, I mean, I think that's whether you're in a breakup, whether you're in a beginning of a relationship, in the middle of one, but allowing yourself to have this.
Or if you're just on your own, if you're single, does it? I mean, just the fact
having
that
a relationship with yourself.
Well, yeah.
Allowing yourself
just
to be...
allowing yourself your feelings. Yeah.
Interesting.
And same with our kids, teaching that to our kids.
Tanya has... she said... Her comment was that you don't always have to be polite and nice.
My God, this is the story of my life.
Go, come on, let's unpack that bag. Tell me, what's in that?
Well, you know this.
Well, I do, but
you do know this.
I do know some of this,
and this is where
that's a big response.
Oh, because it's so hard. It's a double-edged sword being a people pleaser. It really is, because I love being kind and I love being nice and I love being a listener and I love being there for people. I love all of that. Though it's taken me so long to get to the point where I say, no, that's not okay with me. I don't like that. I'm not doing that. That was mean. That was unkind. Yep, not up for it today. Like, just to get to that point with people sometimes that I don't even know or care about, I'd still be like, oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, good. I'll do it. And it comes from deep insecurity about, this is the only way I'm going to get liked if I'm nice. And that's
okay.
Yeah, and it's getting back to going, okay, if loving myself enough to draw that boundary and go, that is not okay. You don't get to speak to me like that. You don't get to do that with me. So it's such a long process to unpack that people pleaser. And I have found that a tricky one.
Yeah. When you said, I mean, I'm listening to your words, and you said people I don't care about. I don't get that you don't care about anybody. I think you do care. I'm taking that literally. I mean, I'm saying that you don't know them, so you don't. I don't care about them. I don't know them, but you have an innate quality where you do. I see you caring about everybody.
Yeah.
And for me, just listening to that, isn't it more about turning that being nice and kind to yourself? And sometimes that means that you're not putting up with, you're able to actually turn to somebody who's not being kind and nice to you or treating you with disrespect. You're treating yourself nicely and kindly, that you can turn to them and say, time out, or, thank you so much. I'm moving on now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
With love and respect. Yeah. It's like a loving boundary. Law with love, I think we've said before.
Yeah. And I mean, the not care is simply, it's someone that, it's the lady at the cash register. And it's not, it's just someone I don't know.
You have
rather
respect
than I
for
don't.
that person.
Yeah. But I still would put them in front of me somehow. I'm still at the bottom of the list in front of people I don't even know. But But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's getting to that point where it's like, yeah, I'm just going to walk away from this conversation right now. Had that last weekend, but just going, I'm not going to be triggered here. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with this. I'm walking away.
Yeah, see, at the same party that we were at, I did not do that. I sat there for the conversation, walked away and woke up at 4 o'clock, stayed awake and threw up at 6 in the morning. So
yeah,
it didn't serve me at all well to do that. But I actually should have cared for myself.
Yeah, and walked away,
and gone,
which is what I was saying to
hey,
you.
mate, let's return to this conversation when we're both sober.
Yeah.
You know, so Tan put a quote there from Maya Angelou, and I just love this one. I've learned that you shouldn't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back.
That's taking everything on. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't throw with a catcher's mitt on your hand.
Yeah.
So you've got, I mean, it's just beautiful. Maya Angelou, if you can pick up her writings and essays and books, actually.
She's amazing.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
What else hit you, honey?
I liked this one by Dennis, that it is okay to be happy, that you need not carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, which, it sounds so simple. It's like, of course, you're allowed to be happy, though I understand that it is okay to be happy, and you don't have to, in order, again, to show you're a human or a caring person, or that you have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, yeah. I've known Dennis. Oh, my headphones just fell off. I've known Dennis. I met him in Japan. He was one of the guys I hung out with in Japan in 1983, 84. And,
when you were, what, 2?
When I was 2. What a lovely bloke. Super, super sensitive guy. Wrote all this poetry and just a fabulous guy. And so happy to see his transformation through the years. We stayed in touch over Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And, his life has gone through all different ebbs and flows. And the fact that, he's seems to be a happy bloke now.
Yeah.
He's settled in his life. And I think that's something where sort of goes into what Katerina says. She says that nothing's set in concrete.
Yeah.
We get hard and fast rules often as kids, and that's not the way of the world. Things change. We've often heard of that idea that the only thing that you can count on is that things
change. Yeah.
And how we respond to change.
Yeah.
That, just in the recent news with Holden going down, the national Australian brand of motor car, and people, are really upset by that. And there was a lot of different things being said, well, if you don't want them to shut them down, why don't you buy one, and that sort of stuff. But it's sad to go, but it's like, well, that's part of change. You go, well, there it is. Let's move on. And let's maybe someone will go, you know what, I like the brand, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually, because I think about all the people that work for Holden, that they're out of a job. That's what's hard. And it is such an iconic car.
True. And I love my Holdens. My first car was a Holden, and I love that car. But isn't that the truth about relationships? That whether it's a friendship or
that nothing
stays the same.
Concrete.
Yeah. And that's a marriage, that's a relationship. Things change, and it's how you respond to it.
I'm just remembering something. The actor Ethan Hawke?
Yeah.
There's a quote that he says which always sticks with me as well. And he says, why is it that when we're young, when we say what our dreams and desires to what we want to be, everyone applauds us and goes, yes, you can do that. That's amazing. But as we get to an adult, you say those dreams and what we want to be, and people are like, I don't know, you're a bit old for that, aren't you?
How's that working for you?
How's that working for you? I don't know. Why don't you stick with what you know? We lose that ability and that encouragement and that excitement about being something different as we grow older, doing something different. And that's what I just thought of when you said something set in concrete, that, okay, we're stuck on this path of this job or whatever it is. It's like, no, you can change it. You're not stuck in concrete. You can flip that around. Might not be easy. Really might not be easy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we can talk more about that idea of change because I'm getting a book that's coming and it's more about, so Malcolm Gladwell put out the book Outliers and talked about the, 10,000 hours of something that you must do something. Well, after 10,000 hours of doing something, you become truly proficient at that thing. Now, there's another guy that's gone head to head with him and said, you know what, you can multitask, you can change, you can, and there's a great value to that as well. So, anyway, we can talk about that sort of idea later when I've read that book. Justine said, I'm not sure I would have listened, but save more money. Money's a big one, isn't it, in terms of where we're at and how we define our success. A lot of people hang their hat on how much money you've made as how successful you are in your life. I did some sums. If I'd saved $100 a week since I started working back in 1985, I would have well over $750,000 right now of that savings. If I'd done that, that's
time machine.
Yeah,
Can we
that's
get the
an
time
annual.
machine
That's
out?
like 5% annual rate of return.
Yeah.
On that.
And if I had have saved that amount, we have $1.5 million. We're so dumb. No.
Yeah, but I mean, there were times when I don't know if I know that there was a time where we didn't have, I didn't have $400 a month to put away in a savings account.
Yeah.
But that's a good one too to instill into the kids, or
Yeah.
if they've been told that. Yeah, if you just plug that away and make sure you stick to it.
Yes.
I remember my very first bank account, and I was encouraged to put $5 a month in it, I think, away. And I've attempted to do that with our kids. I don't know if they're still doing it now.
Yeah.
I think Bodhi's the only one that's actually really doing it.
She's savvy.
Although Lotus, I found out the other night, she's like got 4 bank accounts.
Yeah. No, she's savvy too.
Yeah, she's
so
going,
maybe
"That's my
we've
savings,
Maybe
this is
we've
my
done
check,
better
that's
with them than
than I thought
we've done with ourselves. I have a girlfriend that that many years ago, her and her best friend said, let's put $20 away. I think it's a week. So when we both turn 50, we can take the trip of a lifetime. And they did it. And they are now off to Nepal. They're
That's
going to
amazing.
Nepal, the two of them. They've got I don't know how many weeks they're going for, but that's it. They've both stayed dedicated to that, and they've got enough money to go to Nepal and travel all over Kathmandu and all sorts of places. That's so cool.
And their husbands are on board?
Who cares? Seriously. On board for what? The two of them having a 50th holiday together?
But I'm saying, I know that there's people out there right now who are, the husband's like, well, I'm not, it's not part, they're not happy with their wife doing their own thing like that. They're worried about that. It's strange.
That they're worried about their wife going away with their girlfriend for their
them. I'm not involved in this. And they get, It's fun. Yeah. It's interesting.
Well, I'm sure there was a conversation that she would have had. Her husband would have known it was coming for many years.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to go to Nepal. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just don't know about that. No, you'd be right. I'd be okay. Janie talks about when you you're owed success, that there has to be something coming back to you. If you do the right thing, if you treat people correctly, treat them kindly, that you're actually owed.
Well, that's very much like what you were talking about in the beginning, isn't it? It's my turn.
Yeah.
It's my turn. I'm up front now.
Yep.
And now it's my turn. I'm owed something because I've done something good.
Yep.
Yeah.
She said, she finished up, she wrote beautiful stuff. She said, maybe my parents letting me know that there was shit coming would have changed where I spent my energies. And I guess that's the way you're telling, if you're telling your kids or something that, not everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
But there is a certain, I love this that I found, I read this the other day, I actually heard it in a podcast. I've spoken about Ed Milet before. He's an American entrepreneurial guy. He does great podcasts. Ed Milet. he was talking to a guy that his name escapes me right now, but that guy was talking about act as if everything that's happening in your life, you wanted it to happen.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Good, bad, indifferent.
other day.
Everything that comes in your life, you act like, I wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
And it changes your perspective.
Yeah.
And how you deal with it. Because I totally get with that. What butts
Well,
you?
honey, I mean, if we're going to go really to a very dark place, imagine if your child dies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
You
know.
can't say, "Oh, I wanted that to happen." Like that, you just can't.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that point.
You know what I mean?
I'm not talking... Well, okay. Fair enough.
There's things that I can totally apply that to. I lost my job. I broke up. Blah 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 blah. I understand that for a lot of things to get you through, but there's just things that are just too painful to be able to go. Yeah, I wanted my husband to die. I wanted my 2 kids to be in a car
All
accident.
right.
You know what I mean?
I guess I'm not talking about extreme.
Yeah, they're
things,
extremes.
You know, like
That's
death,
what I don't
divorce,
like.
or whatever.
Sometimes I just don't like those. I don't know, those all positive, all thingy commentary over the
What,
lay
like
it
a
over the top of
blanket
everything.
statements?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes those things just get my goat a bit.
Clearly.
Sorry.
Just shoot me down.
I did.
Shoot me down on national telly.
I'm a little feisty today. My people pleaser seems to have gone to the back of the bus today. How nice.
We've been talking about the question that I put to you on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is Separate Bathrooms and Other Handy Marriage Tips. I put the question, growing up, what would you have liked to have been told about adulthood? That would have assisted you. We've been talking about different responses. Our last podcast, we talked about sex and how to sustain a strong sexual connection over multiple decades. Mm-hmm. If you have comments, if you hear that, send us your comments if you've got any queries, because I think there's lots to talk about in that as well.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Facebook. You'd have to be doing something pretty awful for me not to accept you into the Facebook family.
Okay.
So, So send us those if you haven't found us on Facebook, Separate Bathrooms and Other Handy Marriage Tips. And you've got another one there
Well,
about growing up. What would you have liked to have learned?
well, yeah, Lee, I just want to add what Lee, in which I just think this is something that our youngest is going through right now, is how about people who pretend to be your friend and sometimes have hidden agendas or ulterior motives? I'd like to have known how to avoid them if that's possible. And that's, as a parent, it's hard to watch that take place. It is a strong learning curve, and you've just got to, we've just had to sort of watch that take place with all 3 of our kids at some point or another.
Because they've all had it. They've all had their own version of it.
They have,
And
yeah.
I'm sure if you've got kids, your kids have had a version of it. I'm sure you've had a version of it too.
Yeah. And that's just, I think that's being strong in yourself again, and talking to someone about those people and getting a clearer picture of who they are, and also not being afraid to walk away from a friend that treats you bad. I think that's something that is often really hard as a kid. It's hard as an adult.
Yeah, well, that's true. Which comes back to having respect and liking yourself.
Yeah.
And being able to be kind to yourself. I think we keep coming back to that word, kindness.
My favourite word.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, look, we're out of time. This has been great. I've loved doing this. Ali's going to pose a question next, aren't you, on Facebook? This is the first she knows about it.
Well,
But this has been fun
maybe.
to include you, our listener, into our discussion.
Yeah.
And this is what we love. This is what we wanted with Separate Bathrooms and Other Handy Marriage Tips, is to throw your tips in and
Because God knows we need them.
Yeah, we do, because it's always growing. We're always moving ahead, and we don't know everything.
Oh.
Nobody knows nothing, right? Nobody knows nothing.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Ciao for now.